Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at Voidfall,
Okay.
specifically the lore and the player's goal within that lore.
Sounds good.
So if you haven't heard of it before, Voidfall is this really interesting board game.
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
Yeah, and it's got this really rich world that it takes place in.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like about it is that it's not just about, spaceships and lasers. It's about
Yeah.
understanding the forces that shape the galaxy and the role that you play in its future. You
Yeah,
know?
it's kind of like a story that you step into.
Totally.
So let's take a look at that story. Let's take a look at that lore.
Right.
So first of all, we have the Dominium.
Yeah.
This was a vast human empire that stretched across the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And at its heart was the House of Navarkon.
Right.
They were known for their technological advancements. They were really pushing the boundaries of what was possible.
Yeah, they were like the rock stars of their time.
They were. But their success was fueled by a dark secret,
Yeah, and that secret is the Voidborn,
the Voidborn.
an ancient entity that lurks in the void between dimensions. It's like a cosmic parasite.
Okay, a cosmic parasite.
Yeah, it whispers knowledge and inspiration to civilizations. It drives them towards rapid growth, but it has a sinister motive.
So they're being groomed for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Voidborn's help is a ruse.
A ruse?
It nurtures civilizations to a point where they become ripe for consumption.
Oh, that's kind of terrifying.
The Dominium, with all of its technological marvels, was nothing more than a carefully cultivated meal for this entity.
And then the Voidfall happened.
Right.
What exactly was that?
That's when things really went sideways. Imagine cracks ripping through the fabric of reality, spewing forth these tendrils of darkness that corrupt everything they touch.
Okay.
The Voidborn turned the Novarshan against their own people, unleashing chaos across the galaxy.
Oh, so it's like a cosmic virus spreading.
You could say that.
Now, where do the players, fit into all of this?
You are the leader of one of the great houses in the Outer Rim, spared from the initial corruption, but definitely within the blast radius. Each great house has a unique origin story, giving them distinct advantages and challenges.
Oh, so it's not just picking a faction.
All right.
It's like stepping into a legacy.
Totally.
What kind of origins are we talking about here?
Oh, man. Imagine leading a house descended from genetically modified super soldiers, each one a walking arsenal. Or maybe you command a house of mystics wielding the power of the cosmos itself.
Okay.
The possibilities are kind of mind-blowing.
I'm already getting interested. So I'm in charge of this unique great house, but what is my goal? What am I actually trying to achieve?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Voidfall offers both cooperative and competitive modes, each with its own distinct victory conditions.
So I have choices.
You do.
What does it look like if I choose to team up with the other players?
If you decide to go the cooperative route, you and the other players are working together to seal these interdimensional rifts. You're trying to prevent the Voidborn from fully manifesting in your dimension.
To keep it out.
Right. It's a desperate struggle for survival. It requires careful coordination and a willingness to sacrifice for the greater good.
So it's like we're playing this cosmic game of whack-a-mole,
Huh?
but with terrifying interdimensional entities.
Yeah, something like that. It really tests your ability to adapt and work as a team.
Okay.
You're going to need to manage crises, share resources, and coordinate your strategies to repel the Voidborn's advances.
Gotcha.
Now, if you want something a little bit more competitive,
Oh, yeah.
there's always the competitive mode.
Okay, so what happens there? What's the goal there?
In competitive mode, the great houses are all vying for ultimate control. They all want to unify humanity under their own banner,
Okay.
establish a new order.
So it's kind of like a cosmic Game of Thrones.
In a way.
Lots of backstabbing and power grabs.
Exactly.
I like it.
But you gotta remember the Voidborn is still out there, lurking in the shadows. You have to balance your own ambition with the need to survive.
So no matter which way I choose to go, the Voidborn is always this looming threat.
That's right.
You talked about corruption before,
Yes.
and it sounds pretty bad. How does that factor into all of this?
Corruption is like the insidious manifestation of the Voidborn's influence.
Okay.
It's this creeping darkness that can infect planet-star systems, even your own great house.
Oh, so it's not just about fighting off alien fleets.
No.
I have to worry about corruption from within.
You do.
It's stressful.
Think of it like a cancer slowly eating away at your strength, limiting your resources, turning your own people against you.
Wow.
It's a constant pressure that you need to manage both on the galactic map and within your own house.
So if my advisors start, whispering about embracing the Voidborn, That's probably not a good thing.
Probably not a good sign.
Okay. But it sounds like Voidfall gives you tools to fight back against this corruption.
It does. You can invest in technologies to purge corruption, fortify your defenses, and you can even exploit its power for your own gain.
Interesting. So there's like a balance there.
There is. It's a very delicate balance, but that's what makes the game so captivating.
Okay, so I'm not completely helpless
No?
when it comes to corruption.
Yeah.
Let's talk strategy. What are some of the key decisions that I'll be facing as I lead my great house?
Every turn in Voidfall, you're presented with this web of choices.
Oh boy.
Each with its own consequences. You'll need to manage your resources, expand your territory, develop new technologies, build powerful fleets, and you have to navigate this complex web of alliances and rivalries with other great houses.
There's a lot to keep track of.
It is. There's a lot going on. But the beauty of Voidfall is that there are multiple paths to victory.
Okay.
Some great houses might excel at military conquest, others might focus on technological advancement, and still others might rely on cunning diplomacy.
So I need to figure out what my house is good at.
Right. The key is to leverage your unique strengths and adapt to the ever-changing dynamics of the galaxy.
So I can't just like pick a strategy and stick with it.
It's a good idea to have a plan, but you gotta be ready to adapt.
Okay, so Voidfall rewards flexibility,
It does.
strategic thinking. What are some specific ways that I could gain an advantage over my rivals?
Technology's a big one.
Technology.
Imagine harnessing the power of black holes, manipulating space-time, creating fleets of self-replicating drones.
Yeah.
The technology tree in Voidfall is vast.
Oh, that's awesome.
It offers a really tantalizing array of possibilities.
I can only imagine, I'm guessing though, that researching these advanced technologies takes a lot of time and resources.
It does. You have to manage your research carefully. You have to choose technologies that align with your overall strategy.
So I'm trying to out-tech my opponents.
You could say that.
Okay, what else? What else should I be thinking about?
Diplomacy is really important.
Oh, diplomacy. Even in the competitive mode.
Even in the competitive mode, alliances can be formed. Treaties can be signed. Trade agreements can be negotiated.
Interesting. So I need to make friends.
But you gotta remember, alliances can be just as easily broken as they are made.
So I can't just blindly trust everyone.
That's right. You need to be shrewd.
Gotcha.
You need to anticipate your rivals' moves. Weigh the risks and rewards of every decision.
This is sounding more and more intense.
It is. It's like this giant game of cosmic poker,
With high stakes.
with the fate of the galaxy at stake.
Okay, speaking of the galaxy, how does space exploration work in Voidfall?
The galaxy map is divided into sectors,
Okay.
each representing a star system.
Okay.
These star systems are teeming with planets' resources and potential dangers.
So how do I decide where to explore?
Each sector offers different rewards and challenges.
Okay.
Some might be rich in resources, others might hold strategic locations, and some might even contain remnants of the fallen Dominium.
Oh, so there's like lost technology and stuff.
There could be powerful artifacts.
I like it.
So it's not just about conquering, it's about uncovering the secrets of this fallen empire.
This is really starting to sound like an epic adventure.
And we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, wow.
Voidfall is a game of depth and complexity,
Oh.
with layers upon layers of strategic choices and narrative possibilities.
Okay, so we've talked about the lore, we've talked about, the factions, the goals, even touched on some strategies.
Right.
What does this all mean for me as a player?
Yeah.
What should I really be focusing on when I first sit down at that table and I'm ready to, take command of my great house?
You're stepping into this galaxy that's teetering on the brink. So your first priority has got to be survival. You need to secure your home sector, build up your defenses, and establish like a firm foundation for your house.
Yeah, like don't get too ambitious too early.
Right.
Focus on the home front first. But what about those fallen houses?
Ah.
The ones that were swallowed by the corruption?
Yeah.
Are they a lost cause? Or is there some way that I can bring them back into the fold?
Those fallen houses, they're really interesting. They represent both a threat and an opportunity.
Okay, how so?
On one hand, they could become breeding grounds for further corruption. They could spread the Voidborn's influence.
Right.
But on the other hand, they hold valuable knowledge and resources that could turn the tide in your favor.
So it's like a risk-reward kind of thing.
It is.
If I liberate a fallen house, I might get some really cool technology or strategic locations.
Right.
But if I fail, then I just have a bigger problem on my hands.
Exactly. And liberating a fallen house isn't just a military operation.
Okay.
It requires a deep understanding of the corruption that plagues them. You might need to invest in research to develop countermeasures, Or you might even have to make difficult choices about sacrificing certain territories to contain the spread.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Like a cosmic triage situation. You got to make the hard choices.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm starting to get a sense of the challenges here, but let's talk victory. How do I actually win this thing? Is it about, like, wiping out the Voidborn entirely? Or is there something more to it?
It really depends on whether you're playing cooperatively or competitively.
Okay.
In cooperative mode, victory comes from unity.
Unity.
You and your fellow players have to work together to seal the interdimensional rift. You have to prevent the Voidborn from fully manifesting in your reality.
Okay, so it's all about teamwork.
It is.
We got to pull our resources,
Yeah.
coordinate our strategies, and ultimately just push back the darkness together.
That's right.
I like it. What about competitive mode, though? What am I striving for when I'm going head-to-head with these other great houses?
In competitive mode, victory is measured in influence.
Influence.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically a representation of your house's power and prestige. You gain influence through various means, completing agendas, conquering territories, forging alliances. You can even exploit corruption to your advantage.
Oh, interesting. So there's a lot of different ways to
Yeah.
get to the top.
Yeah, you can't just rely on brute force. You got to be cunning, resourceful, and maybe even a little bit ruthless.
A little bit ruthless. I like it.
Yeah.
So I need to really think about my diplomacy,
You do.
carefully choose my allies
Right.
and my rivals,
Yeah.
and anticipate their moves.
Exactly. It's a game of constant adaptation and strategic thinking.
It really does sound like it.
Hmm.
But beyond all the mechanics, beyond the victory conditions, what's the lasting takeaway for a player? What's the core experience?
At its heart, Voidfall is about leadership in the face of overwhelming odds. It's about making difficult choices. It's about weighing the needs of your people against the survival of the galaxy.
Okay.
It's about grappling with the complexities of power and the seductive allure of ambition.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so compelling, right?
I think so. It's a game that challenges you not just strategically, but also morally. It forces you to confront your own values and question what you're willing to sacrifice in the pursuit of power.
Well, there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of Voidfall, where fallen empires, cosmic horrors, and ambitious leaders collide. We've explored the lore, the goals, and the strategic nuances of this really captivating game. Now it's up to you to decide. Will you be a beacon of hope in a galaxy consumed by darkness, or will you seize the reins of power and forge a new destiny for humanity, even if it means embracing the shadows? The choice, as always, is yours.